Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we have a sad lesson for you. This is an intermediate level lesson about what happens when a friend or family member dies.
Exactly. So we have a lot of words that are related to all the preparations for when somebody dies, and also some phrases that you can say to someone that maybe had a family member who recently passed away. So before we get into all of this, we have a key word that we want to take a look at now in Vocabulary Preview.
Vocabulary Preview.
All right, so in Vocabulary Preview, you have that one word, and it's the title of our lesson also, funeral.
Funeral. So funeral is an event. It's something that we have. So basically, a funeral is the time when we mourn someone who has died. It's a celebration of their life.
Right, so it's kind of like a ceremony where you respect that person that passed away, right? Some people will talk about the person that passed away, or maybe, it's time to maybe honor that person, to, as you say, mourn and remember that person.
Right, so it's very common for people in different religions to have different traditions. In some religions, like I think in Christianity, you have a priest who will say some things that are very traditional and then say some things about the person who died. And other religions have different ceremonies.
Right.
So today we're going to take a look at what happens in preparing a funeral.
Hi, Daniel. How are you holding up? I'm greatly sorry for your loss.
Thank you. I'm doing much better. I've begun organizing everything for the funeral.
How's that going?
It's a lot harder than I imagined. There are many things that you have to arrange. I booked a time and date with the funeral home, but I still have a lot of things to do.
Have you bought a burial plot and a casket?
No, Wendy is being cremated. She always talked about how she didn't want to be buried. I already chose a cremation urn, and we plan to spread the ashes in the ocean.
I see. That sounds like something she would have really liked. I'm sure the memorial service will be tasteful. You're doing a great job.
Thanks. It hasn't been easy, but luckily we have life insurance, and Wendy left behind a detailed will that will sort out any other legal matters.
All right, we're back. So a pretty interesting dialogue, and I'm sure you have a lot of questions regarding some of those words and phrases that you heard. So why don't we take a look at 5 key words on language takeaway.
Language Takeaway.
So basically, we have 2 friends in this dialogue who are discussing arrangements for a funeral, and one friend is asking the other about his preparations and asks if he's bought a burial plot.
Okay, burial plot. Now, what is a burial plot, and why would you buy one?
Well, a plot, P-L-O-T, plot is a piece of land. So you can think about this logically. A burial plot, burial, to bury, is a place, a space in the ground where we bury a person.
Usually you buy one of these at a cemetery, right?
That's right. So cemeteries have usually a lot of land, and you can pay for a piece of land.
A small portion.
A small portion, yeah. And that's a burial plot.
Okay, good. And, our next word is related to what you put into this burial plot, right? Somebody dies, and what goes into this piece of land is a casket.
That's right. And I don't know if any of you are fans of the TV show 6 Feet Under, but you'll know from this TV show that there are many different kinds of caskets.
Right.
So a casket is a box. You can have fancy caskets, or you can have wooden caskets that are very simple, like pine. And basically, this is the box that the person's body will go into when they're buried.
Right. Very good. So that is called a casket. Well, moving on, a new trend, I would say, in many countries and many people around the world don't want to be buried. So what happens? You get cremated.
Cremated. So this is the option for people who are not buried. In some countries, China, for example, I don't think you can be buried. You have to be cremated because there's an issue of space.
Right.
And this is an option for most people where basically your friend or your loved one, their body is burned, and you can collect the remains afterwards. They're very small. They're ashes.
Right.
So it's like a burning process.
Okay, interesting. So the word is to be cremated, to get cremated.
Yeah, his body was cremated.
Was cremated. And well, as you said, you take the ashes and you can put them in a cremation urn or just an urn.
Okay, urn. This might sound like a strange word to you, but an urn is a special kind of pot, okay, or a vessel to hold things in. So, for example, in this case, we have a cremation urn that is a special pot, usually very beautiful. Sometimes there's a name on it with the deceased person's ashes, his or her remains.
Okay, very good. So, as you said, it's kind of like a vase or a pot, something very nice and small where you have the person's ashes. All right, so now we know what happened during the funeral. We know what happens, how you maybe cremate the person or you put them in a casket. And, well, what happens afterwards?
Well, afterwards, you have a memorial service. Okay, so many people want to know what's the difference between a funeral and a memorial service.
Right.
In my mind, a funeral is very quiet and sad, and you have some respectful words, and you usually put the casket into the ground, or you have some kind of ceremony. But a memorial service is an opportunity to talk to friends and family, to eat some food, to have some drinks, to talk about the person who died. It's almost like the party, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's a get-together of people who obviously are trying to give support to their friends or their family members who lost that person, but also to talk about that person in a good way and all the great memories they had. I guess that's why it's called a memorial service, because you remember and you give out your memories about that person.
Exactly.
Okay, great. So a lot of interesting words there, very specific to this topic, but obviously really important. So why don't we go back and listen to the dialogue again?
Hi, Daniel. How are you holding up? I'm greatly sorry for your loss.
Thank you. I'm doing much better. I've begun organizing everything for the funeral.
How's that going?
It's a lot harder than I imagined. There are many things that you have to arrange. I booked a time and date with the funeral home, but I still have a lot of things to do.
Have you bought a burial plot and a casket?
No, Wendy is being cremated. She always talked about how she didn't want to be buried. I already chose a cremation urn and we plan to spread the ashes in the ocean.
I see. That sounds like something she would have really liked. I'm sure the memorial service will be tasteful. You're doing a great job.
Thanks. It hasn't been easy, but luckily we have life insurance and Wendy left behind a detailed will that will sort out any other legal matters.
All right, we're back. So we have a couple of phrases, 4 to be exact, that we want to take a look at now in Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
Okay, this first phrase is a very useful one if you're trying to ask someone about maybe how they're feeling, or someone who's had some problems recently. You can ask them how things are going. One person says to the other, "Hi, Daniel, how are you holding up?"
Right. How are you holding up? Now, you know that to hold up something means to have it in your hands, but in this case, you're talking about how are things going?
Right, but I wouldn't say, "Hey, how are you holding up?"
Right. You wouldn't say that to somebody, right? If normal circumstance.
Not if Marco looks really happy, I won't ask him. But if someone has passed through a very difficult period, for example, if someone dies in their family, or perhaps if they've been very sick, or, there's some negative or difficult things that happen, you can say, "How are you holding up?"
So basically means how are you dealing with this difficult situation?
Yes, exactly.
Or how are you dealing with your illness? Okay. How are you holding up?
Or how are you holding up with your in-laws?
Right, exactly. How are you dealing with that difficult situation? And then the person complimented this by saying, and this is a very good phrase, this whole sentence is very useful if you want to say something nice to a person that has recently lost someone. You say, "I am greatly sorry for your loss."
Okay, so you might have heard the word loss before. Lose, loss. Loss is a noun. It's a thing. We normally say this about people who have died, because you don't want to say, "I'm really sorry for your dead brother. Or
Right.
that's it's sad. It's
Too
very
direct.
rude, too direct. So in English, we say, "I'm greatly sorry for your loss, for this part of your life that has been, that has gone away."
Right.
You can also say, "I'm very sorry for your loss." This is standard phrase
Right.
this is a standard phrase for funerals and memorial services.
Exactly. So if somebody's brother died, you go up to that person and you can say, "I am greatly sorry for your loss. I am very sorry for your loss." That's what you say. And it's very respectful and it's very nice to say.
Yes, it's very nice.
All right. So now moving on, we've said that the person is sorry and everything. But then they were talking about the girl Wendy and that she had life insurance and that she also left behind a detailed will.
Does that mean she forgot it?
She forgot it. But that it
No.
can mean that, right?
Right. No, yeah, this is a phrase that has a couple different meanings. And so it's important to look at this one when we're talking about someone who has died, who left behind something. It means that they have completed it in this case, or it survives them.
Okay. So they left that for you. Okay. Because as you said, it has a couple of different meanings. Like to leave behind can be to lose or to forget. But in this case, specifically, it's to leave for you.
Yeah. For example, you could say he died and he left behind 3 children.
Okay.
So that means that he had 3 children when he died and they're still alive.
Right. Okay. Very interesting phrase, to leave something behind. And so she left behind a detailed will, and that's going to sort out any other legal matters.
To sort out. This is a great verb. This is it's a verbal phrase that we hear a lot with documents and wills and things like this. Basically, to sort out means to solve problems or to fix or to amend. For example, have you sorted out that problem you had with your plane tickets?
Okay, yeah, to sort out. So have you fixed those problems or have you solved those problems that you had with your plane tickets?
To sort out, to fix, to make arrangements for. Very, very useful phrase.
Very useful phrase. Okay. So 4 key phrases there, really good ones. Why don't we go back, listen to the dialogue, and we'll be back to talk a little bit more.
Hi, Daniel. How are you holding up? I'm greatly sorry for your loss.
Thank you. I'm doing much better. I've begun organizing everything for the funeral.
How's that going?
It's a lot harder than I imagined. There are many things that you have to arrange. I booked a time and date with the funeral home, but I still have a lot of things to do.
Have you bought a burial plot and a casket?
No, Wendy is being cremated. She always talked about how she didn't want to be buried. I already chose a cremation urn and we plan to spread the ashes in the ocean.
I see. That sounds like something she would have really liked. I'm sure the memorial service will be tasteful. You're doing a great job.
Thanks. It hasn't been easy, but luckily we have life insurance and Wendy left behind a detailed will that will sort out any other legal matters.
All right, we're back. So now, talking about funerals, there's an interesting word. What is it called when a person speaks at a funeral?
Well, normally at a funeral, a loved one or friend will give a eulogy.
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 Okay, that's EU, right?
EU. It looks like a funny word, but it's very important, and it's something that you hear a lot. Who will give the eulogy? Or his son will give the eulogy. So this is maybe the keynote address in a funeral. This is the important speech where someone will discuss the person who has died and his or her contributions and life.
Right. Okay, so that's called a eulogy. That's
right.
really, really interesting because, I don't know, it's kind of a word that you don't really use much and you wouldn't really know it. For example, I didn't really know about it until I saw it in a movie when he made a mistake. He said googlegy or something like that. I
Really?
can remember it. Yeah, it was in a comedy. So, but very interesting words. It's a sad topic, but it happens sometimes. You have to deal with these things, and so if you have to do it in English, well, what better way than to learn all of these things, which could come in handy sometimes.
That's right. And, you never know, you're watching a movie or something and this comes up. There are a lot of comedies, like you said. We call them black comedies. It means they're very dark and
talk about that.
strange. And they, like Four Weddings and a Funeral is a very famous English movie about this kind of thing. And so this is useful vocabulary and some useful phrases for those situations as well.
Exactly. Even if you maybe meet somebody who... I remember I knew somebody who met a casket salesman.
Really?
Sold caskets.
It's an interesting job.
Yeah, so you never know.
You never know. Well, hope you've enjoyed this lesson. Not too dark for you, but please do remember to ask us any questions or practice some of your new words and phrases on our website, EnglishPod.com.
All right, we'll see you guys there.
Bye.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Continue to live through hardship. Hold up. The act of burying, especially the interment of a dead body. Burial. Burn up something and reduce to ash. Cremate. Being in keeping with good taste. Tasteful. Having many details. Detail.
Let's try that faster.
Continue to live through hardship. Hold up. Having many details. Detail. Burn up something and reduce to ash. Cremate. Being in keeping with good taste. Tasteful. The act of burying, especially the interment of a dead body. Burial.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Hold up. Craig is holding up well after the surgery. Hold up. He continued to hold up even with all the stress. Hold up. Our family is having a difficult time holding up after my father's death. Burial. Burial plot are expensive in Japan. Burial. My parents bought burial plot that are next to each other. Burial. Each burial plot in our cemetery has an individual ID number. Cremate. Cremation is more and more popular these days. Cremate. I want to be cremated when I die. Cremate. Many people choose to be cremated nowadays. Tasteful. This is a very tasteful color you use for your home. Tasteful. I think that this place is charming and tasteful. Tasteful. The wedding we attended was elegant and tasteful. Detail. There are detailed instructions on how to assemble the computer. Detail. Mike left detailed contact information in case you need to contact him. Detail. This book contains detailed information about Italy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another great lesson here at English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we've got an upper intermediate level lesson for you all.
That's right. We're going to talk a little bit about business, and specifically, we are in a business meeting where we're trying to sell something to someone.
That's right. So you're going to hear a lot of talk about chocolate, or in this case, gourmet bonbons.
Gourmet bonbons.
Bonbons is another word for chocolate candies or candies.
Okay, so a bonbon is kind of like round usually, right?
Usually, yes.
Okay.
All right, so let's get started and listen to today's dialogue. We'll be back in a moment.
I'm glad you could find time to meet with me, Mr. Johnson. I can't think of a nicer environment for our meeting today. The ambience here is lovely.
No problem. If possible, I always combine business with pleasure. Now let's hear more about these chocolates you're offering.
Well, as you know, I have recently become the sole distributor for Granger's Gourmet Bonbons here in the United States. They're a new manufacturer and are looking to break into the luxury market. Naturally, your restaurant sprang into my mind immediately. I think your brand exemplifies many of the same traits as Granger's, and serving these chocolates would really add to your reputation for providing elegant, luxurious, first-class dining.
Sounds interesting. Gourmet chocolates. Where are they produced? Belgium?
Actually, the factory is located in Scotland.
Really? I didn't think they were known for their luxury chocolate production.
That's what makes this such a fantastic opportunity. The government is 100% supportive of creating new export markets and has guaranteed a low tariff for all wholesale orders of over 1,000 units. They've also reduced the red tape involved at customs as well. Here, I brought these especially for you. Try one.
Oh, thanks. Creamy texture. Very smooth.
Unique, aren't they? I bet you've never tasted anything like it. Quality is assured as I personally visit the factory to make sure no one's cutting corners with the ingredients. Only the crème de la crème make it through inspection.
Yes, very interesting flavors. Slightly spicy. Very unique, that's for sure. Exactly what are the ingredients?
I have it on highest authority that this traditional secret recipe has been handed down in the Granger family for generations. I'm sure you can keep a secret. Buttermilk, cacao beans, sugar, and haggis.
Haggis. What's haggis?
It's a traditional Scottish delicacy. You take sheep's liver, heart, and lung and stuff it inside the sheep's stomach.
I'll get back to you.
Mr. Johnson? Mr. Johnson! All right, we're back. So a lot of interesting vocab there. The guy was trying to convince him about these chocolates, but it turned out to be something a little bit strange, and we'll talk about that in a little while. Before we get into that, why don't we take a look at 7 key words that we have prepared for you today on Language Takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Okay, so we've divided language takeaway into 2 parts today. The first part is all about business and manufacturing. So what's our first word, Marco?
All right, so the guy talked about being the sole distributor for this company called Granger's Gourmet Bonbons.
Okay, a distributor. Okay, this is a person or a company, and a distributor is someone who distributes or sells a product, right?
Right, so the factory will make them. He will get all these goods from the factory, and then he will be the one that gives it to the different retail stores. So he can have many clients, and he is the main person who you get it from. So obviously they don't get it directly from the factory.
Okay, so this person, a distributor or a company, is in the middle of the transaction. On one side there is the manufacturer, and on the other side there is the retail market or stores.
Exactly. And as you said, that's our second key word today, manufacturer.
Okay, manufacturer, again, is a person or a company that makes a good. So, for example, a television manufacturer makes TVs. It's like a factory.
Exactly. So they manufacture things, they make them.
All right. So we've got distributors who are moving goods. We have manufacturers who are making them. But what happens when we want to move a good out of a country?
Okay, so that is our third word for today. Usually in customs, we have to pay a tariff for these goods, or a tax.
Okay, so a tariff is a special kind of tax that you pay when you are trying to export or send outside of your country goods that you've made in that country. So, for example, if I make 100 TVs in America, but I want to sell these TVs to someone in Mexico, I have to pay a tariff. I have to pay like $10 to the government.
That's right.
That allows me to send these out of the country.
That's right. So that is a tariff. And now when he was talking about tariffs and how the government is reducing the tariffs in order to motivate business, he talked about also that the government is reducing or cutting the red tape.
Okay, so he says, listen, they've also reduced the red tape involved at customs. So this means that before they were encountering some problems at customs, because customs, you know, there's a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of taxes, there's a lot of information you have to provide. It's a hassle. It's a lot of work.
A lot of paperwork.
Right. So this kind of paperwork, bureaucracy, this is called red tape in English. For example, I would love to get a visa for my foreign husband, but there's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of work that we have to do.
There's a lot of bureaucratic processes that you have to do.
All right. So red tape, this means a lot of paperwork, a lot of work that you have to do.
Okay. So those are our key words that are related to business. Now let's move on to a couple of different adjectives. The first one, when he talked about chocolates, he said elegant. He said that something is elegant.
Okay, elegant. This is a great adjective. You're going to see this on a lot of luxury brand items. Elegance means something is elegant if it is classy, if it looks really good and rich, or you could say that dress is very elegant, that mink coat is very elegant.
Okay.
This is a positive thing.
So something that looks kind of expensive at times as well.
Yeah, that's right. Another word that means looking expensive or elegant is luxurious.
Okay, so luxurious comes from the noun luxury.
That's right. Luxury, luxurious. So we can say that the executive suites at this hotel are very luxurious. They have a jacuzzi, a king-size bed, expensive silk sheets. All right, the best quality materials.
So you can say that elegant and luxurious kind of go hand in hand.
That's right. Although elegant you usually say about someone or their clothing, or even a car, but luxurious is more like
Object.
a place or an object.
Okay. Good. And then we have one final word that also describes something that is very rare or very good and rich, a delicacy.
Yeah, actually, this one is a noun. It's a thing. So we can say that this is a Scottish delicacy, or what are the delicacies in your country? So delicacy is something that's special.
Okay.
So, for example, you've told me that in Ecuador there are some interesting food delicacies.
Delicacies?
Little animals.
Yeah, for example, guinea pigs. Well, they're not really a delicacy, although kind of, because guinea pigs are expensive comparatively to chickens, for example. So it is considered to be something that you only eat on special occasions.
Right. And in East Asia, many people consider shark's fin soup to be a delicacy.
Right.
It's a special dish.
So we can say that it's usually about food, and it's rare, something that's rare or special, or also can be very expensive.
That's right, a delicacy.
Okay, so a lot of great, interesting words on language takeaway. Why don't we move on now to Fluency Builder?
Fluency Builder.
This first phrase is actually something I try to do as often as possible, but it's usually very difficult. I combine business with pleasure.
Right, to combine business with pleasure. Now, this is a whole phrase, and this talks about doing business, but at the same time, doing it in a fun way or an interesting way.
Right. So pleasure here means something that is fun or entertainment even. So, for example, going out to dinner with your company is a way to combine business with pleasure. All right. Or meeting a client at a bar is combining business with pleasure. So you're
Right.
combining things that are fun and things that are work related.
Right, because you can have a business meeting in a boardroom or in a business or in a meeting room, but if you have the same business meeting at a bar where you're talking and laughing, but also at the same time talking business, then you're combining business with pleasure.
That's right.
And now for our second phrase, it's more about cheating, right? Somebody that is cheating or maybe not doing things correctly, they are cutting corners.
That's right. So cutting corners is another way to say cheating. For example, I've seen students cutting corners with their studies. You think about cutting corners, it means that you're not going the long way. You're
Right.
you're cheating by going the shorter way.
You're taking a shortcut.
Taking a shortcut. So, for example, instead of studying for that final test in math, some people write the formulas on their hands.
Right.
This is a way to cut corners. Instead of studying, you actually cheat by putting it on your hand, making it easier.
So to cut corners is to cheat or to try to take the shortcut, but it kind of has a negative connotation, right?
Oh, definitely. So most people will say, don't cut corners. In the end, it's not worth it.
Right. And for our final phrase, we have one that it's in French.
So this one is in French, but it's also a very common English phrase. That's why we're going to teach it to you. The crème de la crème.
Okay. So literally in translated from French, that means the cream of the cream.
Right. But in English, we would say that it's the best of the best.
The best of the
The
best.
very top.
So that's what this phrase means. The best of the best. The very top, the most excellent.
So you could say, Harvard University attracts the crème de la crème of American high school students.
Okay, so the very best of American high school students. All right, so that phrase, it's in French, but you can say it in English, right? Like
should.
fiancé, for example.
Fiancé, crème de la crème. These are all words that we've stolen from
Right.
French and we use in English. So don't worry about how you pronounce it. In English, we just say crème de la crème.
Okay, so why don't we listen to this dialogue for the last time, and we'll be back in just a bit. I'm glad you could find time to meet with me, Mr. Johnson. I can't think of a nicer environment for our meeting today. The ambience here is lovely.
No problem. If possible, I always combine business with pleasure. Now let's hear more about these chocolates you're offering.
Well, as you know, I have recently become the sole distributor for Granger's Gourmet Bonbons here in the United States. They're a new manufacturer and are looking to break into the luxury market. Naturally, your restaurant sprang into my mind immediately. I think your brand exemplifies many of the same traits as Granger's, and serving these chocolates would really add to your reputation for providing elegant, luxurious, first-class dining.
Sounds interesting. Gourmet chocolates. Where are they produced? Belgium?
Actually, the factory is located in Scotland.
Really? I didn't think they were known for their luxury chocolate production.
That's what makes this such a fantastic opportunity. The government is 100% supportive of creating new export markets and has guaranteed a low tariff for all wholesale orders of over 1,000 units. They've also reduced the red tape involved at customs as well. Here, I brought these especially for you. Try one.
Oh, thanks. Creamy texture. Very smooth.
Unique, aren't they? I bet you've never tasted anything like it. Quality is assured as I personally visit the factory to make sure no one's cutting corners with the ingredients. Only the crème de la crème make it through inspection.
Yes, very interesting flavors. Slightly spicy. Very unique, that's for sure. Exactly what are the ingredients?
I have it on highest authority that this traditional secret recipe has been handed down in the Granger family for generations. I'm sure you can keep a secret. Buttermilk, cacao beans, sugar, and haggis.
Haggis. What's haggis?
It's a traditional Scottish delicacy. You take sheep's liver, heart, and lung and stuff it inside the sheep's stomach.
I'll get back to you.
Mr. Johnson? Mr. Johnson! All right, we're back. So now this Scottish delicacy. What is this haggis?
Haggis.
Haggis.
Okay, haggis. I've never actually eaten it. It does sound pretty disgusting. It's a Scottish delicacy that I think involves stuffing. Like what? What do we hear? Pig liver? Let's see this again. So basically, you take a sheep's liver, a heart, and a lung, and you put it inside the sheep's stomach, and you serve that. So it's
And you
kind
cook
of
it. Yeah, you cook it like that.
You cook it, and so it's like all the insides of a sheep.
Yeah. It kind of sounds disgusting, but I'm pretty sure it tastes pretty good. Because it's a Scottish
tastes
delicacy,
good.
so.
Yeah, I don't know. Although I cannot imagine eating it in a chocolate. This is disgusting.
I've heard of countries where they take chicken, they stuff it with something, like they have a stuffing, and then they put the chicken inside a goat, and then the goat inside a bigger animal, and then they cook all that together.
Oh, wow.
And then you have you have this amazing, obviously it's huge. They use these big brick ovens to cook them. But you have this platter with like 3 different types of meats.
Oh, wow. We have that in America.
Really?
It's called a turducken.
Turducken.
Turkey, ducken, turkey, duck, and chicken. So you have a chicken inside of a duck, which you put inside of a turkey.
Turkey, wow.
And you bake it.
Wow.
Yeah.
How does it taste?
Delicious.
Ah,
It's a very
see?
special taste.
Exactly.
Business, how people work and make money. What is business? A business is an activity where people sell goods or services to make money. Some businesses are small, like a bakery or a clothing shop, and some are big, like car companies or airlines. Businesses help people by providing things they need, such as food, clothes, houses, and services. Common words and phrases about business. Here are some simple words and phrases related to business. Owner, the person who starts or runs a business. Customer, a person who buys something from a business. Product, something that a business sells, like food, clothes, or toys. Service, something that a business does for people, like a haircut or car repair. Shop, a small place where people buy things. Company, a big business that sells products or services. Profit, the money a business makes after paying costs. Loss, when a business loses money. Price, the amount of money a product or service costs. Employee, a person who works for a business. Boss, the person who manages employees. Sell, to give a product or service in exchange for money. Buy, to pay money to get something. Market, a place where people buy and sell things. Advertisement, a way to tell people about a business or product. Types of businesses. There are many kinds of businesses. Some businesses sell things, products, while others provide services. Here are some examples. 1. Businesses that sell products. Grocery stores sell food and drinks. Clothing shops sell clothes, shoes, and accessories. Toy stores sell toys for children. Bookstores sell books and school supplies. 2. Businesses that provide services. Hair salons cut and style hair. Restaurants cook and serve food. Repair shops fix cars, electronics, or machines. Hotels provide places for people to stay. How to start a small business. Many people want to start a business to make money and help others. Here are the basic steps to start a small business. 1. Have an idea, think about what to sell or what service to provide. 2. Plan the business, decide where to sell, who the customers are, and how much money is needed. 3. Find money. Some people use their own savings and others borrow money. 4. Open the business, buy the things needed, and start selling. 5. Tell people, use signs, social media, or advertisements to get customers. Why is business important? Businesses help the economy grow. When businesses do well, more people get jobs. People can buy what they need. Cities and countries make more money. New products and services are created. Common business phrases in English. Here are some useful English phrases about business. How much does it cost? Ask for the price of something. I want to start my own business. Talk about opening a business. Our business is growing. Say that the business is doing well. We have many customers. Talk about people who buy from a business. I work in a shop. Talk about a job in a store. Conclusion. Business is an important part of life. It helps people make money, create jobs, and provide goods and services. Learning business words and phrases can help English learners talk about jobs, shopping, and money.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. The atmosphere of a place. Ambience. A person or business that sells to retail stores. Distributor. A company that makes goods. Manufacturer. Enter quickly. Break into. To appear or come into being quickly. Spring. Sets an example, a demonstration. Exemplify. A characteristic feature or quality. Trait. Place where goods are made. Factory. Famous for, easily recognized. No. A tax or amount of money to be paid. Tariff. The sale of goods in large quantities. Wholesale. Procedures required to gain bureaucratic approval. Red tape. To do something in the easiest or most inexpensive way. Cutting corners. To pass from one family member or generation to the other. Hand down. Made of sheep's viscera, minced with oatmeal and sweat. Haggis. To pack tightly, to cram inside. Stuff. Let's try that faster. The sale of goods in large quantities. Wholesale. Made of sheep's viscera, minced with oatmeal and sweat. Haggis. Famous for, easily recognized. No. Place where goods are made. Factory. Sets an example, a demonstration. Exemplify. Enter quickly. Break into. To pass from one family member or generation to the other. Hand down. A person or business that sells to retail stores. Distributor. A tax or amount of money to be paid. Tariff. To pack tightly, to cram inside. Stuff. To appear or come into being quickly. Spring. A company that makes goods. Manufacturer. To do something in the easiest or most inexpensive way. Cutting corners. Procedures required to gain bureaucratic approval. Red tape. A characteristic feature or quality. Trait. The atmosphere of a place. Ambience. Exemplify. 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 Wholesale. 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 Red tape. Red tape. Red tape. Cutting corners. Cutting corners. Cutting corners. Hand down. Hand down. Hand down. Hello everyone, welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And my name is Catherine. Welcome back, everyone. So what are we talking about today, Marco?
We are going to the flower shop.
Okay, so this is an intermediate level lesson, and we're going to be learning about the different kinds of flowers you can buy at a flower shop. And so we've got a guy here who's probably trying to say something to someone he loves.
Yeah, I think he did something to his girlfriend or wife. And, well, that's the typical thing, right? You do something wrong, so you got to get her flowers.
And that's why women are often very nervous when their husband or boyfriend gives them flowers, because she's thinking,
what did he do?
What did he do wrong?
All right, so let's listen to the dialogue and we'll be back soon.
Hello, sir. How may I help you?
I would like to buy some flowers, please. Something really nice.
I see. May I ask what the occasion is?
It's not really an occasion. It's more like I'm sorry.
Very well. This arrangement here is very popular among regretful husbands and boyfriends. It has a dozen long-stem red roses with a couple of sunflowers and a single orchid that stands out. It includes a small teddy bear to achieve the effect of immediate forgiveness.
I think I'm gonna need more than just a dozen red roses and a bear. What else do you recommend?
Well, this is our I'm sorry I cheated on you package. 2 dozen red roses lined with tulips, carnations and lilies. The fragrance and beauty of this flower arrangement is sure to make her forgive you.
I don't think that's gonna cut it. I need something bigger and better.
I'm sorry, sir, but what exactly did you do?
Well, I may have accidentally insinuated that she is getting chubbier.
Get out of my store, you jerk.
All right, we're back. So what do you think? Is this really like a bad thing to do?
Heck yeah.
No, really?
Well, no one wants to hear that someone thinks they're fat. Okay, and chubby is maybe not as bad as fat, but the guy could have been a little bit nicer.
All right, so we'll give our listeners some advice towards the end of the lesson. So now why don't we take a look at all the flower names in Language Takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Okay, this first flower is a beautiful one, and it has delicious seeds that people like to eat. It's called a sunflower.
A sunflower. All right, so that's a yellow flower, right?
It's bright yellow, and in the middle is orange, and the stems are very, very long.
And
so
thick.
And thick. So it's a tall flower.
Okay, sunflower. And yeah, as you mentioned, some people eat sunflower seeds. They're like the little salty ones, right?
That's right. They're really good.
All right, next is an orchid.
Okay, an orchid is a beautiful flower, and they're often grown just one at a time. And people collect orchids, so these can be very, very expensive.
They're very expensive.
And they
right?
come in all shapes, sizes, and colors.
Okay, an orchid. Now what about a tulip?
A tulip is another pretty flower, and I think they're most famous in Holland for their tulips, because this actually used to be the kind of money that they would use. This was their currency for many years. So
They used to use tulips.
they used to use tulips, and the tulip flower is kind of like it's like a champagne glass. It's tall and it's kind of empty in the middle.
Oh, that's interesting. So next time somebody says, do you think money grows on trees? In Holland, it literally did.
Well, yeah,
Almost.
almost.
All right. What about a carnation?
Okay, a carnation is another pretty flower, and they come, I think, in red, pink, and white.
Yeah, I've mostly seen white carnations.
Yeah, and flower giving, there's a whole
Definition.
method to it, right? So yeah, every flower is symbolic of something. Red roses are for love, and carnations, I think, are generally
Friendship?
for either friendship or like when someone died. I'm not sure.
Or
But
you can give them to
when someone
somebody.
has passed away.
Really?
I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up. But carnation is another very, very common flower that you'll see in many different colors.
Okay. And the next flower is also really common. It's a lily.
All right, a lily is a beautiful flower, and usually you see these on water. So water lilies, for example, is another name you might hear.
Okay, a water lily or just a regular lily. And next we have the most common of all the flowers, but we've added a little twist to it. It's a long stem rose.
Right, so rose everyone knows. A rose by any other name would smell as sweet. Shakespeare wrote a lot about roses, but in this case, we're talking about long stem roses, and we talked about this with sunflowers. The stem is the green part that grows out of the ground, and you think of the flower as the head. And so the stem is actually the connector between the ground and the flower.
Okay, so these types of roses have a really long stem, so they're very nice to like maybe give one of them away or something.
That's right. And you see, for example, at the opera, you see singers, people throw these roses at them and they pick them up and they're so long, the stems are so long and they collect them in their arms. And so that's a long stem rose.
All right, interesting. Okay, why don't we listen to our dialogue for the second time? Let's keep a lookout for these flower names and their pronunciation, and we'll come back in a little bit.
Hello, sir. How may I help you?
I would like to buy some flowers, please. Something really nice.
I see. May I ask what the occasion is?
It's not really an occasion. It's more like I'm sorry.
Very well. This arrangement here is very popular among regretful husbands and boyfriends. It has a dozen long-stem red roses with a couple of sunflowers and a single orchid that stands out. It includes a small teddy bear to achieve the effect of immediate forgiveness.
I think I'm gonna need more than just a dozen red roses and a bear. What else do you recommend?
Well, this is our I'm sorry I cheated on you package. 2 dozen red roses lined with tulips, carnations and lilies. The fragrance and beauty of this flower arrangement is sure to make her forgive you.
I don't think that's gonna cut it. I need something bigger and better.
I'm sorry, sir, but what exactly did you do?
Well, I may have accidentally insinuated that she is getting chubbier.
Get out of my store, you jerk.
All right, we're back. So in this dialogue, we had a lot of interesting phrases, so let's look at them now in Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
A lot of these phrases, Marco, have to do with, well, what the guy did wrong in
Right.
today's dialogue. And so the first one is to cheat on.
So the woman offered him the I'm sorry I cheated on you package, right? So it's like an arrangement of flowers that usually people buy when they cheated on their boyfriend or girlfriend.
Right. And so in this case, to cheat on means to see another person. So if you're married to a woman, seeing someone else, having a date or a romantic encounter with another person is cheating on your wife.
So you're cheating on your wife.
Right,
And you
to
use it
cheat
like
on.
this, cheat on, right?
Cheat on. So he cheated on her, or they were both cheating on each other.
Okay. So to cheat on, not a
Cheat
good
on.
thing.
Not a good thing.
All right. So he was explaining to her that wasn't enough. The arrangement wasn't enough. And he said, I don't think that's going to cut it.
Well, okay. You've probably heard the word cut before, but
Right.
in this case, Marco, we're talking about to be able to cut it. So that's not going to cut it, or it's not going to cut it.
It's not going to be enough.
Exactly. So that's not quite what I'm looking for. It's not enough. He wants bigger and better.
He wants more.
And so, for example, we could say, you know what? This dessert's not going to cut it. We need something much fancier
Okay. So
to be good enough for.
Okay, so to be good enough for. All right, very good. And then he was explaining to the shop lady what happened, and he said, well, I accidentally insinuated.
Okay, to insinuate is to suggest. So I could say, hey, you're really chubby. That's not an insinuation,
Right.
that's a statement. But I could say, well, you're looking a little bit round at the sides. That's an insinuation because I'm suggesting without saying something.
Right, so you're saying something indirectly, right?
Exactly.
And he was insinuating that his girlfriend was getting chubbier.
Chubby. So chubby, chubbier, chubbiest. In this case, we're talking about being round or a little bit overweight.
Right, so it's not really saying fat.
No, fat is rude.
Right.
Chubby is, it's in
Just
between.
a little bit extra pounds.
Yeah, like maybe you had a little bit too much ice cream over the past couple months.
All right, very good. So why don't we listen to the dialogue for the last time, and we'll be back.
Hello, sir. How may I help you?
I would like to buy some flowers, please. Something really nice.
I see. May I ask what the occasion is?
It's not really an occasion. It's more like I'm sorry.
Very well. This arrangement here is very popular among regretful husbands and boyfriends. It has a dozen long-stem red roses with a couple of sunflowers and a single orchid that stands out. It includes a small teddy bear to achieve the effect of immediate forgiveness.
I think I'm gonna need more than just a dozen red roses and a bear. What else do you recommend?
Well, this is our I'm sorry I cheated on you package. 2 dozen red roses lined with tulips, carnations and lilies. The fragrance and beauty of this flower arrangement is sure to make her forgive you.
I don't think that's gonna cut it. I need something bigger and better.
I'm sorry, sir, but what exactly did you do?
Well, I may have accidentally insinuated that she is getting chubbier.
Get out of my store, you jerk.
All right, so if you make a mistake, like as a guy, right, you give flowers to your girlfriend. What about women giving flowers to guys? Is that common? Do you think that's possible? Can you do that?
I'm sure you can do it, but I don't know if it's as common.
Like, I think as a guy, I wouldn't really feel comfortable receiving flowers.
Really?
I mean, I would be touched by the gesture and I would be like, oh, that's really sweet. But like flowers, it's a little bit too feminine, I think.
Generally, I think it's a one-sided thing. So you can get flowers for your mother, or you can get flowers for a friend, or if someone, passed away, you can get flowers for their family.
Right.
But in a romantic situation, rarely do you get flowers to a guy.
So if you want to say I'm sorry to a guy, what do you give him?
Season tickets to his favorite football team.
That works. Yeah.
Or
like a game for his PlayStation.
A game
or
for his
something.
PlayStation, or offer him a new coat of paint on his car. I don't know.
Have you never given a gift to somebody, like saying I'm sorry?
No.
No, you don't make mistakes.
I like to use my words.
That's good. Yeah, this is kind of interesting. Why do we do this though? Why do we give gifts to people as a token or as a demonstration of our regretfulness?
Well, can I get personal for a second? I just was thinking about this in terms of engagement. So why do people give a ring when they get engaged?
So it's
I
like
think it's
symbolic.
because people like things that glitter. It's like distract the woman and she'll say yes. And so it's the similar thing with flowers and forgiveness. You say, oh gosh, these flowers are so beautiful. Oh, of course I forgive you. Oh, they're so pretty and they smell so, it's just like, it's like distraction from the matter at hand.
Right. Oh, maybe that's it.
I don't know. If you disagree with me, please
It was a
write
very
us.
wise man who invented this.
Absolutely.
All right. So if you have any questions, doubts, or comments, please come to our website, englishpod.com, and we'll see you guys there.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Occasion. Occasion. A word used to describe 12 units. Dozen. Says something deserves to be chosen. Null. 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 More polite way of calling someone fat. Chubby.
Let's try that faster.
Occasion. Occasion. Null. Null. A word used to describe 12 units. Dozen. Says something deserves to be chosen. Null. More polite way of calling someone fat. Chubby.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Dozen. I would like to buy a dozen of eggs. Dozen. He sent her 6 dozen flowers, representing the 6 years that they have been married. Dozen. Take a dozen of your best men and scout the forest. Occasion. On this occasion, I would like to buy something very special. Occasion. Occasions like this don't come so often in my life. Occasion. What's the occasion for your visit? Null. I recommend you to stay away from that jungle. Null. He would recommend many unnecessary things. Null. He recommended me to hire this man. Null. The fragrance of lilies is very pleasant. Null. He always has such a sweet fragrance. Null. She bought a new perfume with a fragrance too sweet for my taste. Chubby. She got so much chubbier over the summer. Chubby. My dog keeps getting chubbier. Chubby. He was a lot chubbier last time I saw him.